To the channel. This is the Rational Wrestling Mark, also known as the Rational Wrestling Viewer. Welcome back to another wrestling talk discussion where we're going to be talking about John Cena and how I was wrong about John Cena. Now, not to say from a wrestling standpoint, but from more so a human being aspect. Now, it has a lot to do with the, Make-A-Wish. And we all know John Cena has done a lot of Make-A-Wish, right? He's contributed a lot to that foundation for so many years. And the number's pretty big for the wishes that he has granted. And originally, when they shown John Cena doing those Make-A-Wish segments, and they would show him doing the wishes and visiting children's hospitals and visiting children in need, and it was on camera. And when I saw it, it's not the act that's wrong, it's the intention behind it that's wrong. The fact that you need to record him doing these Make-A-Wish, these wishes, and the fact that this has to be on camera, it has to be televised, it has to be publicized, that's what irritates me. Well, that's what irritated me, And listen, we all knew John Cena was not the best top guy in wrestling, right? We knew for a fact that he's not what we wanted in a top guy at all. He wasn't Stone Cold, he wasn't The Rock, he wasn't Hulk Hogan before him. A lot of us today will have no problem saying that Roman Reigns is a better top guy than John Cena ever was, right? A lot of people have said John Cena has buried a lot of guys in the past. He hasn't done business the right way, and he has been booked way too strong, and he's not really the top babyface if he's getting booed. If he's the reason why so many fans are stopped watching. How many fans have stopped watching, and why so many people have just given up in the WWE as a whole, right? And him being on top for so long was the reason why so many people left. Well, not left, but stopped watching, right? And as a viewer, you got really tired of seeing the same old song and dance week in and week out. Every week on your television screen, you got tired of it. It's like the restaurant is serving the same dish all the time. It's like you just want something different on the menu, and you tell the restaurant, listen, we want something different. We want a different meal. Y'all keep serving us fish, but we want salmon. It's like y'all keep putting fish on the menu, but we're telling you we want salmon. We prefer salmon. Please and thank you. But we don't get salmon. What do we get? We get fish every damn time. That's what it was like dealing with John Cena as the top guy. And it felt like forever. Well, it really was forever. I mean, it was 10 years? About 13, 14 years on top. And for a lot of us that watched, Raw and SmackDown, watched the WWE on a weekly basis, just made us not want to watch. It just made us not want to tune in, because we knew what the outcome would be every time, John Cena would feud with somebody that we liked, that we were a fan of. We knew he was going to win. We knew he was going to come out on top, because the feeling at that time was John Cena. So if you're a fan of someone like CM Punk at that time, or you're a fan of, you know, Dolph Ziggler, right? You knew that those guys, especially Dolph Ziggler, he had a ceiling, and he wasn't going to get anywhere past that ceiling. He was only going to go so far when you're in the era of Super Cena, right? The ceiling is John Cena, and you're not going to get past that ceiling. You know, you're just not. Not even CM Punk. For successful as he was on top for a certain amount of time, even he wasn't going to really surpass John Cena. You know, like they gave CM Punk the ball, don't get me wrong, but he wasn't surpassing John Cena at all. Not as a top guy. They didn't value him as much, as a John Cena. And if you look at that roster at that time, you knew that they valued John Cena so much over the rest of the entire roster. The rest of the entire roster was just playing second fiddle, And it was very unfortunate because so many guys, so many wrestlers had to take a back seat. They had to get less TV time and stuff. And they were just getting pushed down the card. And we were more fans of those wrestlers, But I recently, stumbled upon a Paul Heyman interview, really a transcript and what he said word for word. And, Paul Heyman was doing an interview, and he talked about John Cena's Make-A-Wish visits, right? And having to be convinced to go public with what he was doing for the kids, because for a long time he did them without the general public knowing. And originally I didn't know that. And originally I thought this was all to get his character over on TV. It was all to just make him seem like this stand-up guy, this goody two-shoes, and behind the scenes he was a completely different person. That was my perception at first. And I thought that this was just a lazy attempt to get people to, like John Cena. How can you dislike somebody that visits children's hospitals, that does Make-A-Wish? How can you dislike somebody like that? Like that's the message that they were trying to send when doing those segments, because they barely showed any other wrestler doing that, and they were doing Make-A-Wish. They were doing Make-A-Wish to other wrestlers, but they only featured John Cena doing them. Now, let me read on to what Paul Heyman had to say about, talking about how John Cena was going to go public. Well, not want to go public, but really instead Vince was the main reason why he wanted John Cena to go public with the Make-A-Wish. So he goes on to say, I don't have the words to convey the admiration I have for John Cena as a human being, Heyman said. There had to come a point in time where Vince had to sit down with John and say, you need to let me go public with these Make-A-Wish visits. You have to. You're hurting Make-A-Wish by not allowing me to do that, because if people understood how much of your time you give to Make-A-Wish and to these kids, they will be inclined to contribute. They'll be inclined to get involved. You will help them if you allow this, because Cena never wanted to exploit it. Okay, this is the big key thing in this. Cena never wanted to exploit it. Now, originally, that was the perception I had. I thought it was all an attempt to exploit those kids. And just to do that for his character And I thought at the time, like, that's great and all. That's very stand up of you to do that. But why do you need a camera? Why do we need to go public with this? If I decide to give a homeless man $50 to get himself some clothes, some food, some shelter, I'm not going to get my phone out and start recording myself giving the homeless man $50. Like, hey, here, guys, I'm giving a homeless man $50. Please like me. I'm doing such a good deed for society. I'm doing such a good thing. No, I'm doing that out of the kindness of my own heart, because it's coming from a genuine place. It's not coming from a place of approval, acceptance, please like me. No, it's coming from a real place. I want to help this person out. I felt bad for that homeless man. I don't need to record this happening. I don't need to make it public. And that's why when I see like videos of these people just giving money to homeless people and they make content out of it, I feel like it's in bad taste, because you should never really record that type of stuff. It's like, because I start to question the intention behind it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I start to question the intention behind it. And that's what I was getting with the whole Make-A-Wish segments. Like, I was questioning the intentions behind them going public with it. Like, but now that I know, after reading this and watching the interview, what Paul Heyman had to say about it, he said Cena never wanted to exploit it. He never wanted to publicly, he never wanted publicity, right? He never wanted publicity for it. He never wanted recognition for it. He wanted to just do it. That's a hero. That's what Paul Heyman said. And it says in 2022, Cena set the record by granting 650 Make-A-Wish wishes. Yeah, that's outstanding. That's a lot of wishes. And for that, I gotta give John Cena his props. That is a stand-up guy. And now knowing that, okay, he wasn't doing this for the attention, for the publicity. Well, that was all Vince. Vince was the one that pretty much pushed him to make it public. Now, that probably tells you what kind of person Vince McMahon is. And you really kind of question his intentions too. But now I'm looking at John Cena as a stand-up guy, And I will admit, I was wrong about John Cena. Like, that was probably one of the main reasons why I didn't like him. Because I thought that was like just wrong to go public with that. Just to get your character over, just so people can like you. Like, that to me is fake. I'm from Jersey. I can sense fakeness from a mile away. Like, I don't like fake people. I generally don't like fake people. So that naturally, actually made me dislike John Cena, But now, knowing what I know now, and knowing that, okay, he wasn't trying to exploit the Make-A-Wish, he wanted to keep this private. He didn't want no recognition for it, and that speaks volume. That really does speak volume. So with that being said, I was wrong about John Cena. I will admit I was wrong. I pretty much take back to what I said about John Cena in the past. I mean, personally, on a from a fan perspective, viewing the product and stuff, that's how I felt, But yeah, this definitely gave me clarity, you know what I'm saying? And kind of blew my mind, like, wow, so it was Vince. Vince was the one that push John Cena to go public with this, to go public with the Make-A-Wish, to do all these segments, televised, and he didn't want that. He didn't want that, you know. You don't need to televise it to make people to want to be inclined to contribute. It shouldn't take that. Because at the end of the day, you have to understand it's not coming from the kindness of your heart. When you do something for somebody, you do a good deed for somebody, it can't come from a different source. Okay? You have to understand it has to come from the kindness of your heart. That's the source of where it should come from, not from somebody else because you saw John Cena do it, so now you want to contribute. No. It should come from the kindness of your heart, nowhere else. So, let that be a lesson, you know what I'm saying, for you guys. So give me your thoughts down below. What do you think of what Paul Heyman had to say in that interview and about John Cena's Make-A-Wish and all his Make-A-Wishes and all that? Give me your thoughts down below. Make sure to like the video for the algorithm. Subscribe today if you're new. Thank you guys for watching. And with that being said, I'm out. Peace.